Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of Empathic Action. I'm joined by a great friend of mine, Seth Shugar, who's a family therapist and life coach and works in family dynamics. And I thought that he would be a great person to have a chat with because I'm having a bit of cabin fever. I'm not used to spending 24 hours a day with my 4-year-old toddler at home bouncing around, and it's taking a lot of energy and patience. And I thought I would reach out to you and find out if you have any words of wisdom or suggestions, tools in your toolbox that you might want to share.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Anita, for having me. And I guess the first thing I want to say is I can relate. I think we're all going through this transition where we've become part-time daycare providers or elementary school teachers or whatever, in addition to everything else we do. So I can definitely relate. I work, my wife and I, we really have found a model of parenting called hand-in-hand parenting, particularly helpful. And one of the main tools in the hand-in-hand model is something called special time. And that is that, like, when you're feeling impatient, especially when you're feeling impatient with the kids, to offer them a period of time where you just basically say, hey guys, it's special time. I'm going to give you 20 minutes of my undivided attention. We can play absolutely anything you want within reason, as long as it's safe. And let's go for it, and often it turns into roughhousing. Sometimes it's quieter. But the keys are to reverse the roles, to let them take charge, and to act the part of a kind of inept buffoon, so that you can get a lot of laughter out of them, which is a way that they shed lighter tensions. And then sometimes they'll take it, and it really allows us to get to know our kids, and in the long run increases cooperation, increases the closeness and the connection between us and them, and allows them just to offload a lot of the stuff that leads to off-track behavior.
So what does that look like? Can you give me an example?
So, one of the classic examples of this is when kids go to get their vaccines. And then so they come back, and what game do they want to play? They want to play doctor if you give them something like special time. But they don't want to be the person getting the shot because they just went through that and it's hard for them. They want to be in the role of the doctor or the nurse who's giving the shot. And who's the patient? You are, as the parent. And so then all of a sudden they get the turkey baster or the whatever it is, the chopstick, and that's the needle, and you're getting shots. And if you ham it up and sort of be willing to lose your dignity a little bit and ouch, and howl and yelp, it just leads to trickles of giggles and laughter and good things.
And so, like, you say you would do that like once a day on average, something like that?
Yeah, once a day would be a lot, to be honest. And it's really helpful to set a timer, because it's not always easy for us adults to go into the role of not being in charge, And so it's often recommended that we start with like 5 minutes, 20 minutes max. And especially if there's a lot of off-track behavior, if there's a lot of crankiness, if there's an unwillingness to get out of bed and get dressed or go to school, or fears at nighttime, to give them at least like 5 minutes before the most difficult stuff. But honestly, 3 to 4 times a week, if you can do it every day, it's ideal. Even 5 minutes every day is amazing. And one of the other things that it leads to sometimes is sometimes they'll work out a lot of their fears. No kids I know will come home and say, "Hey, it was a tough day at school. Can we talk about it?" Or, I'm a little scared about this whole COVID situation. Can we chat about that? Instead, they'll say, "You want to play?" And so if you do play, one of the games that's gotten big in our household over the last 3 or 4 days is something that our kids call the virus game, where they make me the virus. And so I'm this bumbling, klutzy, clumsy virus who's chasing after them. And they're outwitting me and, shining a flashlight in my face and then blindfolding me. And I'm walking into doors and walls and stuff like that. And then they trap me in the bathroom and I'm walking into the wall trying to get out. Meanwhile, they're outside the door howling with laughter. And they get the sense of kind of mastery over the thing that's most scary in their world right now.
That's beautiful. I'm going to definitely try that. So thank you. What else you got?
Let's see, even though that allows them to shed a lot of their tension and just lets them discharge, there's just inevitably, at least in our household and most of the ones that I know, there's going to be times where they lose it, or they have big emotions or big fears, or just all of the things that kids and adults go through. And so another tool that I found really helpful is something called stay listening, which is really just at its simplest holding space for our kids and offering them our loving, reassuring presence while they melt down, while they cry, And oftentimes this happens when we offer them a loving limit. This is a gift to you. I'm not going to let you act in this kind of kooky or off track way. So here's the limit delivered warmly, lovingly as a gift. And then rather than leaving them and hoping that they have the maturity to handle their own emotions, which they often, I don't think, do have when they're younger, is to just hold space for them, just to look at them with love in your eyes so that the fear or the anger or whatever it is, the anxiety can flow out of them while your loving presence flows into them.
So clearly that takes a bit of self-modulation on your part to kind of recognize that you're stepping into a holding the space moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for joining me. I think we're going to need to go to a part 2 because there's still much more to excavate. So I'm just going to say thanks for today, and thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Anita. Thanks for having me.